Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video let's talk about the newly launched OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. And I don't have the unit, none of the Indian reviewers actually got the unit, but some Western YouTubers had got the review. And in the later part of the video I'll suggest you one video that you watch. But first let's talk about it and what do I feel about it. And by the time I was shooting this video, I waited for entire next day, but still we don't know the exact pricing, India pricing yet, because OnePlus India hasn't released it. But I'll talk about what I feel would be the pricing. Definitely it'll be slightly lower compared to what we are seeing in the US, but I'll talk about that also in the later part of the video, so stay tuned. And this is the first screenshot, and as you can see, this gives you an idea about the OnePlus, and based on the leaked video that I made 2 weeks ago, it's exactly the same. We have that punch hole notch and that triple camera setup on the OnePlus 8. First I'll talk about the OnePlus 8, then we'll move to the OnePlus 8 Pro and what do I feel about these devices. And second, this image shows us from the front how it actually looks. So this is how it's going to look with that punch hole notch. And again, OnePlus was talking quite a bit about the improvement in their displays. And here is another screenshot. The regular OnePlus 8 will have a 6.55-inch display, but still will come with a 90 Hz display. But they said that they have really improved the display in terms of color reproduction, and again obviously it's HDR capable, so it'll be interesting to see how good it does. And one improvement I would say compared to the earlier generation of OnePlus devices is that the displays are a lot more brighter. Even on the OnePlus 8 it's slightly brighter, so hopefully it'll it'll be a lot easier in direct sunlight. So that's actually nice. Now let's talk about the cameras, and here I feel I was highly disappointed with the OnePlus 8. If you recall the OnePlus 70 with the rear camera, it also had a triple camera setup, but it had a proper camera setup. For example, it had a regular camera, then it had a wide angle lens and a proper telephoto, that is a zoom lens. But now if you look at this image, this is the new camera setup on the new OnePlus 8, and again it's a triple camera setup, but again the main camera is still a 48 megapixel, but it's the same IMX586. Now this sensor will be almost about 1.5 years old. So I don't know why they did it, and it's not like we don't have new sensors. For example, we have the Sony IMX686, and way cheaper devices like the Poco X2 actually has the IMX686. That's the Sony 64 megapixel sensor. So very peculiar to see why they went with that. I'm happy that the ultra wide angle is still that 16 megapixel, so I'm happy with that. They didn't reduce it, for example 12 or 8, something like that. But I'm disappointed with the last camera. This is just a 2 megapixel macro lens, and I'm surprised. They should have at least gone with that telephoto lens. So I feel in the camera department, OnePlus, sorry about this, has gone a little bit back, I frankly feel. So I don't like the camera setup on this one. So now let's move to the next thing. And again, the good thing is that in video they say they have made improvements, and of course it has optical image stabilization and electronic image stabilization both for the 8 and 8 Pro, and they say that in video, even in 4K video, we'll be having some stabilization. So let's see how well it does that. Anyways, let's move into the next one. And this actually gives you an overview about the new OnePlus 8 and what are the new features, general overview. Of course, both the 8 and the 8 Pro come with the Snapdragon 865 SoC. Hence, these will have 5G support, and storage will be that UFS 3. I was wishing 3.1, but yeah, I won't complain. UFS 3 is plenty fast. And now we have Wi-Fi 6. This is also good. This is the latest standard of Wi-Fi. And if you have the latest routers, that will support Wi-Fi 6. So that's actually a nice thing. Battery is a 4300 milliampere, and you will say that yes, it's an improvement compared to the older generation of the OnePlus. But guys, beware that the Snapdragon 865, because of that 5G modem which is separate, consumes a lot more battery. So I think so the battery life difference won't be that big compared to the OnePlus 70. And still we are getting the 30 watt wrap charging. We didn't get anything faster like 50, 60. Maybe in the OnePlus 8T it's a reserve for that. And And they say that the haptic vibration motor has also improved. So we'll have to see how well is that. So I won't talk about the pricing slide. I'll talk about the pricing in the later part of the video. First, let's quickly also look at what they did with the OnePlus 8 Pro, which I think is their main device this time. So this is how it looks from the front. As you can see, this one also has that punch hole notch and that quad camera setup at the back. And the main difference, I would say, is that, as you can see, it has that quad camera from the back. I'll talk about the cameras later on, but as you can see this slide, these are the main differences that it has. This one has the new 120 hertz display option, and again, it comes with the Snapdragon 865 and 5G. It also has this wireless charging. Finally, yes, now OnePlus has wireless charging, and they say that even reverse charging. In fact, wireless charging is really fast on this one, 30 watt of wireless charging. This is the fastest that we have seen for a wireless charger. But again, to use that, I think so you have to use a special wireless charger from OnePlus. And they're talking about the camera. I'll talk about the camera later on. Again, here also we get the 48 megapixel, not the 64 megapixel. And again, screen is the biggest point. I would say they were talking a lot about the screen on the new OnePlus 8 Pro. This has a bigger 6.78 screen, and now this obviously is a quad HD screen, as you can see the specs, and again that 120 hertz. But the thing is that just notice this 1300 nits of brightness. This is actually really nice. That means it's a very, very bright screen. So hopefully in direct sunlight also it should be visible. And of course, it's not only 120 hertz that the display can go, but the touch response is also 240 hertz. So again, very responsive it should be. So they have really worked on the display. Hope it is actually as good as they say. And even the auto brightness levels, they're saying that it has 4096 levels. And in fact, DisplayMate says that they have rated it A+, which is actually a very high rating. Let's hope, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, the display should be good on this device. But now let's talk about the camera. And here, as you can see from this next slide, this is the camera setup that we are having. Actually, it's a quad camera that we are getting. Actually, the main two cameras are still a 48 megapixel, but again, they have been done very differently. If you look at it, the first one is the 48 megapixel IMX586. That's a Sony sensor. Actually, ultra wide that we are getting. Generally, the ultra wide cameras are generally restricted to 12 or 16 megapixel. But here I'm glad that they went with the 48 megapixel. So if you shoot a lot of ultra wide photographs, I think so this one has one of the best ultra wide camera sensors available. But if you move to the next camera, this is still a 48 megapixel. But again, they say that this is the new IMX689, and this has optical image stabilization. And lastly, I would say this is the main one. That's the 3x telephoto zoom. So you are getting that optical 3x zoom, and with OIS, and they say that it can do hybrid up to 30x. I don't think so 30x would be great, but at least let's see if you do that hybrid zoom up to 10x, the result should be good. And lastly, we have one more camera sensor. This is just a color filter. So this is the camera setup, and they are talking a lot about the camera and were comparing it with the iPhones, but strangely they never compared it with the Samsung Galaxy S20 series of smartphones, because the Galaxy S20 series, the camera is the main part. So it'll be interesting to see how it stacks up with Samsung, but definitely I feel the camera is an improvement here. And last screen, this is the specs that it talks about. Snapdragon 865 obviously, and up to 12 GB of LPDDR5 RAM that you can get on the OnePlus 8. It's LPDDR4 still. Again, Wi-Fi 6 and that new haptic motor. And big thing is that 120 hertz new screen that you are getting. And now it has IP68 rating. The OnePlus 8 Pro has IP68 rating, and even that wireless charging. So these are the things. And now let's talk about the pricing. And guys, we don't have the India pricing yet, but this screenshot shows the pricing in US. And if you see, the OnePlus 8 starts at, for the 8 GB RAM 128, starts at about $700 US. And we have one more variant, 12 gigabytes of RAM with 256. That's $100 more. So that's about $800. But I don't think so. And if you compare even the base variant, $699 in US dollars about 75, 76 doing right now, it will be close to about 53,000. But I definitely feel this won't be the starting price here in India. I would say it will be closer to somewhere around 44 or 45,000. That's what I believe, because again, OnePlus India did not reveal the pricing, but I saw this tweet just before making the video, and it clearly says dollar pricing is not for India. And generally that's what the case is. Generally the India pricing is slightly lower, so I'm assuming around 45,000 is what you can expect for the base variant of the OnePlus 8. And now if you talk about the OnePlus 8 Pro, that one starts at the hefty $900 in US, and for the higher end almost $1,000. But I feel in India OnePlus will try to price it closer to about 59,000. If you recall, the last year when the Pro series were released, it was priced at 49,000, and now I think so this 8 Pro will touch somewhere around 59,000 price point. Now let's talk about one of the disappointments that I felt. I felt that the OnePlus 8, they really gimped it down, especially in the camera department. If you even compare it to the OnePlus 7T, I don't have the device, but I was watching Mr. Mobile's review of the OnePlus 8. I leave a link. Again, watch his review. Now, why I like his reviews is that he doesn't try to overhype things for the heck of it, because many people like to do that, and he's not afraid to say if he doesn't like a thing or finds a flaw. He's very open about it. So again, watch his review, and I would summarize. I would say he said that the cameras on the OnePlus 8 were just okay. I would say he slight downgrade to even the OnePlus 7T. They really want the camera. He was telling that the OnePlus 8 Pro is the way to go. So I feel OnePlus is trying to dumb down the OnePlus 8 regular version and trying to push the consumers towards the OnePlus 8 Pro. And the OnePlus 8 Pro is significantly expensive. In India, I'm expecting around the 59,000 price point. So what do you guys think about the same? Now definitely these OnePlus devices are getting very, very expensive. There was also a very high rumor that OnePlus Lite would be launching, because that was in works. And I think so it might come eventually. They might launch it later on in India, and this was supposed to come with the MediaTek Dimensity 1000 SoC, which is again also 5G capable. But again, that was not announced in the international event. I'm just waiting for the India pricing and other details, guys. Let's see when we get it. But what do you think? Let's say even if the India pricing is aggressive and the OnePlus 8 is priced at about 45,000 and the OnePlus 8 Pro is priced at about 59,000. What do you guys think about the same? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.